open your eyes. You may wish to move your shoulders, move your head, and welcome back from that beautiful, compassionate channel from Kryon. And our next guest we've already had on before, Isabelle Benus Lee. You remember she talked about bioreprogramming.
Decoding and reprogramming, I think, is one of the most fascinating things that I ever learned that was brand new to me. And the idea of conflict resolution being responsible for almost all of our issues, it was such riveting information that I wanted her back.
Absolutely. So Isabelle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, Monica. Hi, Lee. Thank you for having me.
So let's recap.
Yes.
a little bit about Isabelle's background. Last time she was in the middle of producing her book, and have a look, everyone, she has done it. Bio Breakthrough. And this is an actual treasure trove of information that will guide you not only through understanding your conflicts, but more importantly, what you can do to improve not just your health, but your every aspect of your life.
Really is an introspection. It's different than if you've not heard this before. Now, for those of you who have not heard Isabelle, and perhaps you're just on to the Healing Wednesdays as a new person and have not had her first broadcast, let's just tell you a little bit about her. Isabelle is an international speaker, consultant, author, and the founder of Bioreprogramming Institute. She's an expert in the psychology of change and specializes in the resolution of emotional distress leading to health disorders.
Her extensive experience as a trainer in biological decoding and neurolinguistic programming actually led Isabelle to create the comprehensive and transformative approach of bioreprogramming, and that permits the identification of emotional conflicts while providing individuals with concrete and powerful solutions to achieve emotional healing and to transform their lives.
Isabelle is dedicated to inspiring others to become the masters of their own healing, to offer therapists and healthcare practitioners a new vision for approaching illness. Her healing methods have been proven at the highest level of success. Her work has touched and changed the lives of many people worldwide.
By decoding is the profound connection between emotional conflicts and health issues. And I have a few questions for you. Is it possible that our beliefs and perceptions can influence our health and how our organs act as a messenger of unresolved issues? Can subconscious programs that we inherit from our parents during gestation influence our destiny? And if so, how can we regain free will? Now, to answer all those questions, we have Isabelle ready to take us further and deeper into this topic. So, Isabelle, please share with us the conflicts that are most common for people and how we can use tools to move through them.
Yes, so it's interesting to realize that as human beings, we have a tendency to fall into specific conflicts or regular conflicts, I should say, most of the time. We easily feel devalued, or we often feel that we don't want anyone to, invade our territory, for instance, at work. It can be at work, it can be at home, it can be, this is mine, this isn't yours, this is my space, for instance. Devaluation is an important one because when we devalue ourselves, when we feel that we are not good enough, we have a tendency to have a state of depression. And as we explained last time, we first have, there is an event, something is happening in our lives, and we're going to have a perception. I perceive in a certain way, but it's very unique how I perceive. If you think about a man who is getting fired, maybe he's going to think, I'm rejected, I'm worthless, when another man who is fired is going to think, wow, that's actually an opportunity for me to do exactly what I always wanted to do. And they are not good enough for me if they fire me. So you see that with the same event, we're all going to have a different perception. And what's very interesting is that for each event we go through in life, it's going to resonate inside of us differently. And like you said, Monica, it's based on our belief system, our perception, our past experiences. And we saw last time, it's also connected to what happened when we were in the womb, because we carry the memory of our parents' stresses when we were infants or in the womb. And we have a tendency to spend the rest of our lives attracting circumstances that are reminders to those conflicts. So I would say devaluation, low self-esteem is a very common issue we have because we have a tendency to compare ourselves to each other. Oh, this person has more than me, or this person is chosen and I'm not chosen. And, you know, the comparison system is very present, especially right now in our lives, with Facebook, with everything that we see. And we have to be very careful about that. So, yes, it is about perception.
I think what you mentioned about how we perceive the same event is what is happening right now with the lockdown, with COVID, the virus. We have had for almost 12 months somebody else imposing on us what we can or what we can't do. Some have lost jobs, some have seen that as a creation of a new episode. How is it that our generations to come are going to manage through all of these different felt perceptions of the one event?
Yes, that's a great question, because we could ask ourselves, why are we alive in this lifetime? Why do we have to go through this together? For me, everything is connected to a subconscious program. Now it's a world program, it's a humanity program. So we could say, let's look at the program that's making humanity go this way. And what's very interesting at a personal level, there is an exercise we can all use. When anything happens that we don't like, there's an event and it makes me feel bad. It could be, oh, I found out my friends had dinner together, but they did not invite me. Well, I could be very depressed that night and have a glass of wine on my own and suffer. Or I could say to myself, what is the program behind that? Why is this happening to me right now? Why do I feel this way when this is happening to me? And the question to ask, if you want to do this as an exercise, is, what does that remind me of? If I feel an emotion that is limiting and painful, it means that in my story, in my life story, somewhere, somehow, there is a connection and something already happened. And that is why I'm reacting this way. What's beautiful is that when something happens and I feel bad, the feeling of pain is actually an indicator, is actually an opportunity for me to work on something. So look at this. If when something happens to me, I look at it this way. I go, it's a program, it's an opportunity. If I don't feel good, what does that remind me of? I am already outside of the problem. I'm not in it. I become an investigator. I become maybe interested in figuring out why I feel this way. And maybe I'm going to find out that in my childhood, when I was 8, I was uninvited to a birthday, and my friends were, but because I lived in the suburb, they did not invite me. So now I make a connection and I go, oh, well, that's why I feel that way. And I can go further. I can ask myself, well, was there anything similar when I was in the womb? Did my mom go through something that also could be connected to that story of me feeling bad today because I was not invited? And maybe I'm going to find out that my mom had to stay in bed while she was pregnant after 4 months because the doctor said you can't move or you lose the baby, and stay in bed. And then her friends, my mom's friends, were going out and she could not enjoy it. She was in her 20s and she felt they were doing things without her too. So if I connect the dots, now it becomes interesting. And when I do it this way, my story is less and less important in terms of the event that just happened, is what I mean. And when I look at the circumstances that make me react this way, and when I'm an investigator and all of a sudden I have answers, I can trigger, instead of pain, a state of excitement. Now I'm excited because I figured it out. And I know where it's coming from, and it's just a program. And that removes me from being stuck with the content of my story. Now I'm outside of the story. I'm analyzing it, and I start to have power.
You want to add anything, Lee?
I want to say that right now, before we, run out of time, I would love her to give some examples, perhaps, of conflict resolution and direct disease that people know. And one in particular has a twist to it, and it's in the book, and it has to do with one of the patients with MS. Identifying why they had it, and then something happened after that. I think you know what I'm talking about because the book is new and you remember. Would you discuss that one? I think it's fascinating.
Yes, absolutely. So there was this woman who had MS. She triggered MS after a trip with her friends where she felt devalued. Her friends were skiing very well, and she kept on falling because she didn't have the right gears. But she didn't say anything, and she was afraid of falling for 4 days every day, terrified of skiing with them. 3 months later, she triggers MS, which is actually a solution to not fall, because when you're paralyzed, you don't fall. So that's the solution of the subconscious brain to eliminate the potential of having that stress again. And that's the logic of the subconscious. And so as we worked together, and as I explained the origin of the illness, and as she understood why she triggered MS, she started to feel that there was a potential for her to heal, because it was so clear to her what happened. And she felt that sense of, wow, I could get over this. And she stopped me and she said, Isabelle, it seems that this works and I could heal. And I want to stop you from working with me because I don't want to heal. Now that I have MS, my life has changed. I've never been more happy. My friends come to see me. I feel valued. I have visitors all the time. I don't have to go back to my job as a teacher that I hated, where students were mean to me. I'm happy. And the government is giving me a pension every month, and I don't have to work, and I have more money than ever. So why would I want to not be sick? If the work I do with you improves me, and the doctors say that I'm getting better, I won't have that money anymore. So stop working with me.
Wow.
And that is called the secondary gain of illness. Illness sometimes gives us everything that we want because it creates circumstances where we win and we attain our needs, we meet our needs. So if you have any type of illness, make sure to not get attached to all the things that the illness can give to you. It can be a woman whose husband had an affair and now she's sick with a cancer and he doesn't have an affair anymore. He's taking care of her. So in her subconscious, the calculation has been made that in order to have what she wants, she shouldn't heal, right? So yes, that's the secondary gain. And that's a very important point, Lee, in connection to illness.
I think what you said before is that these are the perfect logic of the subconscious to create the solution. And I think we often get caught up in the illness itself that we stop to look at what messages might be there for why this solution came about. And I would love for you to talk about when we start moving through the illness, we have different phases of healing. When we make that story that you told about, oh, it's just a story about my mom was not able to go to parties and now I'm excited I can move through things, that will often bring a healing phase that has symptoms that if we don't understand what's happening, we can interrupt the healing process. Can you share a little of that with us?
Yes, absolutely. So when we have an illness and we start healing, there is often a phase, the healing phase, in which I'm more tired. I'm now exhausted because I am entering the level of parasympathetic movement, which means I'm no longer in stress mode. So I am going to start being tired. Maybe I'm going to have some inflammation. If there is a tumor somewhere, maybe it's going to start shrinking. So it's going to depend on the tissue. It's going to depend on what I'm healing. But most of all, in general, when I'm in a healing phase, I'm really exhausted. And it feels that I just want to sleep all the time. And that's actually a very good sign because it means I'm resting. It's my time to rest. And then slowly I get better. So often after the understanding of the conflict and when I finally let go is when I get very tired, and people should not be afraid of that.
I just had a big aha. I haven't heard that before. And I should have paid more attention when it was given, because I know it has been. Because quite often when I'm dealing with something and I know I have to either travel or whatever, and I've been asking for the healing and I'm talking to my cells, and suddenly I'm tired. I mean, I'm more exhausted than ever. And the first thing that I'm thinking is I'm getting sicker. You know, what kind of an answer is this? And I'm understanding that is a solution, that is an interim. I am actually working on myself and the healing is happening.
So Isabelle, how can we distinguish, am I healing in a healing phase, or am I really having my condition get worse?
So it's difficult maybe to know, but there are a few indicators, and one of them is I am tired, but in a way that's pleasant. Mm-hmm. I'm tired in a way in which I want to eat. I have appetite. I want to rest. I just want to watch TV or do nothing. I don't even need to fall asleep. I just want to do nothing. And the appetite coming back is a very good indicator that I'm in the right process at that moment.
You know, I just realized I'm in a constant state of healing. Because my body's saying, I think I just like to watch television and eat M&Ms. And occasionally I'll doze off. You know, that is great. I'm sorry, I'm making fun of it, but actually that is very profound.
So, yes. Isabelle, I think it'd be wonderful now for our audience to perhaps move through an exercise which you're very good at doing. So if we have this self-devaluation, we're feeling depressed, things aren't going great, you mentioned you have some tools that can help us to move through that. I would love to participate now in you running that through for us.
Yes. So something happens and I don't like it. It bothers me. I have this feeling, maybe I'm sad, maybe I feel devalued, maybe I feel rejected, but I feel something that is unpleasant. The first thing is I'm going to accept that feeling and I'm going to look at it as an opportunity. This is my opportunity to figure out something. Step 1. Step 2, I'm going to ask myself, this feeling that I have right now, what does that remind me of? That's my question. When did I feel that way in the past? And I'm going to try to go as far as I can, maybe to find the root of it. Maybe I went through the same circumstances as the example that I gave you, for instance. Maybe I felt rejected when I was a kid one day and I was not invited to a birthday. Oh, that's what it reminds me of. And when I figure this out, it reminds me of this in my childhood. It can be anything, depending on your story. I can say to myself, oh, this is the connection and this is a program. The moment I call it a program, there is already a shift in your brain that's happening, because the shift is, it means I have power over this. If this is a program, I can work on it. And then if I want to go further, I'm going to, does that remind me of something I know that happened to my parents or my mom when I was in the womb or when I was little? Is there something even deeper associated to that feeling of abandonment or rejection or devaluation? And now I have a map. And you feel already how now I am outside of the problem because I'm becoming my own therapist. I'm doing the research. And then the key, which a lot of people I see in my seminar don't actually have, even if they have studied things. The key is to generate a state of excitement about your discovery versus going, oh,